Did you know that SMU could wind up making the playoff for a second straight year? SMU, you forgot about them since they beat Miami because they lost to, Wake Forest. And by the way, can I just, while I'm talking about this league, throw out Jake Dickert or Tony Elliott? They should probably be co-coaches of the year. Wake Forest and Virginia's head guys, they have done remarkable jobs. Dickert has done an exceptional job in his first season over there with the Demon Deacons. But SMU, if they win this week, what does that mean? What does it mean if Virginia wins? What if Pitt beats Miami? What if Miami beats Pitt? Well, if Miami beats Pitt and SMU and Virginia both win, it's SMU and Virginia in the ACC Championship game, and the winner will be going to the college football playoff. That could be kind of fun. Neither team, I think, is capable of winning a football game once they get to the playoff, unless they draw a great matchup or there's a major injury there. But there are three teams realistically that are in play because there are three teams with one loss. Now, technically, chaos could ensue, and Georgia Tech or Miami or maybe Duke, I guess, could find their way in. But I got sent these scenarios by my guy Alex Dono over at Locked On Canes and wanted to break all of this down because SMU has got Cal this week on the road, who just lost to Stanford in embarrassing fashion. So maybe there's a bounce back, wounded animal, nothing to lose sort of vibe there with the Golden Bears. But SMU's a much better team. And Virginia's got Virginia Tech, and Pitt has Miami. So those are the three teams at the top of the ACC standings. So Virginia gets into the conference championship game with an SMU loss, or if they win, with an SMU loss plus an NC State loss and a Syracuse loss. SMU gets in if they win with a Pitt loss to Miami, a Duke loss to Wake Forest, an NC State loss, and a Virginia loss. Pitt has the simplest scenario to make the ACC championship game. If Pitt wins and Virginia loses, they're in. Or if Pitt wins and SMU loses, they are in. Georgia Tech can get in. I'm not even close to being done reading this scenario, so just prepare yourself. Patience. Georgia Tech can get in if Virginia loses and SMU loses. Remember, Georgia Tech plays Georgia. They're done with ACC play. They're sitting there at 6-2 after their loss to Pitt. But if Virginia and SMU lose, then Georgia Tech makes the ACC championship game. Here are the scenarios for Miami. This is all possible. This is all possible. And I didn't even try to memorize all of this. Those on YouTube can see I'm reading this off a list because, as I dubbed it a while ago, the ACC is the real chaos conference out there. Miami gets in with any of these four scenarios: a win with an SMU win and a Duke loss and a Virginia loss. That's scenario one. Scenario two: Miami wins against Pitt. They get a Virginia win, a Duke loss, an SMU loss, an NC State win, and a Syracuse win. Scenario three for Miami is they win, Duke wins, Virginia loses, SMU loses, NC State wins. Scenario four, they win, SMU loses, Duke loses, Virginia loses, Syracuse and NC State win. I think that's Syracuse or NC State. There's a slash. We haven't decided as a society if that's and or. It's probably, I think that's an or. Duke has got these scenarios, and then I'm done, I promise. Win plus a Pitt loss and an SMU loss. Win plus a Pitt loss, a Virginia loss, and an NC State loss. So I wanted to read those out there for you all so you could have a verbal documentation, and then if you want to go back, you can just hit the rewind button and be like, wait, so Miami does... And if you send me a message saying, what are the scenarios, I'm probably just going to send you the graphic that my guy Dono gave me right there. So the ACC has not been very good this year, and they also keep getting in their own way. Georgia Tech losing last week removed most possibility of the ACC getting two teams in the playoff. But here's the wild thing. Here is the wild thing for the ACC. There's a world where they could still get two teams into the college football playoff, and I imagine some SEC folks would go absolutely bananas. There is still a world in which they get 0 teams into the college football playoff. That would arise if Duke winds up being the conference champion. I just read you the 2 scenarios. I don't know how it's all playing out this weekend. It's all on the line, but I don't know how it's going. Duke is a 5-loss team. At 8-5 and champion of the ACC, Duke should not be in the top 25. They won't be in my top 25, and I like Duke coming into this year. And Darian Mentz is a good quarterback, but they have not been a complete football team this season under Manny Diaz. So if that were to happen, just bear with me here for a moment. And this is as I say every show, this is the greatest and craziest sport on planet Earth. So don't tell me that none of this, it's not going to happen. Look, it might not. You might think back to this segment later this week and go, well, Spencer wasted his time discussing that. I just want to have you aware because it is legitimately possible. And don't tell me what is likely or guaranteed to happen in the ACC on a week-to-week basis. If Duke were to become the ACC champion somehow, some way, which 2 conferences would get in? I don't think the committee is going to rank a 5-loss ACC champion. And so the language says 5 highest ranked conference champions. This would open the door for the American champion. And I hope that game is played between Tulane and North Texas. I think those are the best and most deserving teams in the American going forward. The winner of that, and then if James Madison were to win the Sun Belt, or let me throw this one at you guys. If San Diego State wins the Mountain West, it's not insane. They're the second best group of 5 league. They very much are. I could see it. Now, the most likely scenario is we get 2 teams that are going to have to win the ACC championship game to get in, and that'll be fun. That'll be high stakes. It'll be exciting. But I dubbed this league the Chaos Conference many weeks ago on the program, and now we are in that number of wild scenarios, possibly. I hope there's an alternate universe where Duke just plays for an ACC championship game so that folks that have ignored this conference all year can realize for the first time what exactly is happening and how much madness it is. But you know what? I'm here for it. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful